Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 515. Today we're going to take a look at Animals on Board. Now this is published in the United States by Stronghold Games and published over in Europe by Eggertspiel. This is a very light, family-oriented game. If you've ever played a game called Piece of Cake, I highly recommend playing that. And that is a game, very simple, where you take and divide up pieces of a cake or a pie, depending on which edition you have, and there are various things that have points on them, so you divide it up and then everybody else chooses. So this kind of takes that same concept where there will be a table full of different kinds of animals and you'd be putting them onto an ark. Each player has an ark, if you think like Noah's Ark and that story. And so you're trying to collect different sets of animals, and there's some different ways to collect it beyond just straight points. So let's jump in and look at how the game actually works, and then I'll tell you what I think of it. Okay, here you can see all the components in the game. Each player is going to get this cool little standee. It's like their own little personal ark. They'll have different illustrations here on the back. So you've got this. This is going to be holding your different animal tiles that you're going to get. So each player is also going to get one of these food tokens to start the game. So they'll have one of these. They'll have this little flag here, which they'll insert in this thing to show that they've kind of passed for the round. So each player will have that. And then one player will get here the start player flag. And then each player is going to be dealt 3 of these tiles. And you can see, you can take a look here. So they're going to decide to keep one of these. Let's say we'll keep the giraffe. The other players won't know that they have the giraffe, and then they'll put the other 2 here in the center of the board. So let's say we had a 4-player game, and then the player 2, player 3, and 4. So then we're going to fill out the rest of this display here. We're always going to add 1 face down animal to the display. Nobody's going to look at that. And then in a 4-player game, you're always going to have 12 face up tiles. So we'll add 4 more here. And then the round will start. And the way that the round works is you have one of 2 actions. You have the ability to either split a group, and so right now we've got one giant group here of a bunch of animals, or you can take a set of animals and add it to your ark. So when you split a group, let's just say randomly I'm going to split these 2 groups directly in half. Whenever you split a group, you take a food. And then let's say Billy over there, he just wanted to be cute and he split this face down one all off by itself, so he would take a food. And then it comes back to me eventually on another turn. Let's say these have been split, and then I take and I split these, or maybe I take all 4 of these like that, and then I take a food. Now if I want to take the animals, what I do is I have to discard a number of food tokens equal to the size of the group. So if I discarded all 3 of these, I would take this nobody should have left this, but I should take this group of 3 animals, each worth 5 points. So I discarded 3 food tokens, so I take 3 animals, and then I go ahead and mark myself as out of the round. Now once everybody has taken, except for the last player, they get 1 action. They could either split again and just take an extra food token, because these are worth a point at the end of the game, or they could choose to pay the amount of tokens if they had it to take one of the remaining groups. They could either split or choose, and then the round will end, and then we'll go through the same process. Now in future rounds, you don't deal out any new animals to the players. You just deal 12 off the top, or however many is required by the number of players, and then another face down. And then once somebody has 10 or more animal tiles, that will be the last round of the game, and then we're going to figure out scoring. So let's say we ended the game and I had 11 different animals here. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to see if you have any pairs of animals. So you can see here I've got a pair of 2 foxes, you can tell by the icon there. So any pairs are actually discarded and gone. It's a little wonky thematically, but it makes the game very interesting. Now anything that you only have 1 of, which is all of these 5 here, you'll keep. Anything that you have more than 2, you'll keep. So you can see I actually have 4 giraffes. So then we're going to score. Anything that you only have 1 of, you just get the face up number of points. Anything that you have 3 or more of, these all transform and they are each worth 5 points. So you just take and add those up, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. If at some point after discarding all of your pairs you still have more than 10, you've got to discard down to 10. And that's it. Okay, so that is Animals on Board, and I mentioned Piece of Cake there at the beginning of the review, which is a game that we played quite a bit, you know, kind of as an end of night filler, and really had a good time with it. I definitely enjoyed this more than Piece of Cake. Now, the one thing I think where this has Piece of Cake beat is there's actually a little bit of hidden information in the game. So you deal out the 3 tiles at the beginning, somebody keeps 1, you're not sure what they kept. And there's also that 1 face down tile each round. You don't know that until you pick, you know, the pile possibly that has that face down. You're not going to know what that is. So that can be a little bit scary to pick, but it also just kind of adds a little bit enough of the hidden information to not make it like super calculable. Because you can play a game of Piece of Cake where everything kind of grinds down. You're like, you know, adding up everybody's points that's on display. I mean, one thing in this game is the points that somebody's currently at, unless you had super memorization skills, you know, all of these are hidden behind these trays. So in Piece of Cake, you've got all of these, you know, pies that people have eaten and stuff. The arc's cool. I love these little arcs. You know, they're nice, sturdy components that you can build. It plays really quick, like 20 minutes. And, you know, it seems like really simple, but there's just kind of enough variation in terms of the deal of the tiles to kind of keep you coming back, and, you know, little interesting choices. So this is like a perfect, you know, end of night closing filler if you're playing like a lot of heavy games or something. And it's also like the perfect family game. You can play this with kids, you know, they can add up the numbers and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to have kind of a wide appeal. So I highly recommend that, you know, for any kind of situation I just described there. You know, good lunchtime game, a nice filler, good with the family kind of thing. You can play it a couple of times in a row. You'll kind of find yourself wanting to do that, especially if you didn't win, right? So you can say, oh, let's play it again, you know, because, you know, you were so close to having that nice chunk of 5-point animals and so on. So definitely recommend this. A good quality production all the way around and everything, and it's really fun. So take a look at it. Thanks.